Coming up on this episode of Professional Development.
We're so accommodating to everyone's issues or like trying to understand the underlying factors that it's not just like, hey, do a bit better or try to do better. I just think physical activity would help all these students.
You were just crushing championship after championship.
It was a little more like Wild West where you show up and the race was maybe 13 miles. No one knew who I was, you know, I definitely looked like I didn't know what I was doing. I was wearing basic Nike shoes and you didn't know what the obstacles were, and racing was racing, and I was doing very well. Raced for Team Canada at World Championships and won gold.
I'm Conrad Drover. Join me as I sit down with inspiring professionals from diverse fields to gain valuable insight from their experiences and knowledge to help me grow as both an educator in the classroom and as a person in all areas of my life. This is Professional Development.
That's 2 plates, right?
Yeah, it's 2 plates.
Yeah. So like I got to 205.
Yeah.
And then I like tried 2 plates, and like Olivia literally had to hold it because I literally just did not have it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So anyways, I'm working at that till I get more into volume. I want to get it before I start actual run training again.
Yeah.
Because I know I can't sustain that strength, but I want to just build into it.
Yeah.
One day. Plus I lift in the mornings, and I find like that 6 a.m. workout, like I can't lift as much sometimes. Like I just can't.
Well, I find I work out way better in the mornings solo than after work. Because I'm just too, like what we were talking about earlier, it's like teaching is not physically hard.
Yeah.
Like I'm walking around with a heart rate of like 51.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
your like overall battery, and that is like mental energy and physical energy, is like it's draining to just deal with everything.
Decision-making fatigue.
Yeah.
Or like trying to solve problems all day. When you're exhausted or you're having a bad day, and like you like yell at a kid or tell them to sit down, and then you're like, okay, well, did that action really require me to like just go full force on that kid or whatever?
Yeah.
But then you're thinking, like it didn't happen in a vacuum because I was like the 5th kid that day.
Yeah.
That like pissed you off.
Oh yeah.
And then
But think of those teachers
that are like has like made you mad all throughout the year, and you're like, and he's like, what did I do? All I did is this, and this is a middle school thing so bad, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like
those kids need someone to like get mad at them every once in a while.
Yeah.
I feel like we're so this is kind of like another issue with education now, is like we're so accommodating to everyone's issues or fake issues, or like trying to understand the underlying factors, that it's not just like, hey, do a bit better or try to do better, and stop using this like emotional thing as an excuse or whatever, and just like you know, you can step up, but the standard is like lower, right? And I just think physical activity would help all these students, and you know, some of them just like, I'm too anxious. Like we have 1,600 kids in the building.
Yeah,
it's a huge school.
Yeah.
And like I have 7 other colleagues in the gym to work around in spaces. So like you're like constantly working around it, but it's good. Some days I'll come in and I'll be like, I mean, I'm always have a plan and prepared, but you always have to adjust and work around people. But certain days, you know, if we're team teaching a class, like, and I don't have it that day, like I'm gonna be like, hey, like you take, I'll support, but like you
trade off.
Yeah, it is.
Here's a ring photo, like just for a bit, right? Yeah. No, I get that. Like the way my school works right now is we have 19 kids and 2 teachers. And it's definitely in the situation that my school has right now.
Yeah.
It's like very like at-risk kids.
Yeah.
And like there's times where like I have to tag out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna like lose my cool, or like I'm not getting this like done, like switch. And then I'll go in the other room, you know, hang out with like the quiet kids or whatever, and then we'll like sort of swap, right? But it's hard to balance that and then also being your best self for workouts or like your relationships. Like Olivia, my fiance, is a teacher.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you get married or you just got engaged?
Is getting married. So
Sweet.
Yeah, we got engaged last year. She's a teacher now too.
Okay.
Like, so she just finished, she graduated last year and then we moved back.
Yeah.
And man, our dinner table is just quiet.
Yeah. Because you're like at that point, the transition.
Yeah.
It's like I almost need that buffer time in between teaching and anything I'm doing in the evening, or I can't do it, or I have to go right into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for sure. Yeah, you don't have that extra like energy to put into like, because you tried so hard, partially with people that like didn't even work. It sucks because that's more worth it, right? Putting a little more effort into your relationship, or not effort, but just like care. But since it's a safe place to sometimes be understood to not try, it just sucks. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Think of those. I just think of like all those teachers that don't have good lifestyle practices or stuff going around, and you wonder why they're like grumpy teachers and stuff. And you're like, well, obviously we're not all perfect. Like we all have.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty grumpy sometimes, but like
It's okay. Yeah.
yeah. No, and I think there is like a certain level of guilt that teachers have when like they know that they're teaching like these 20, 30 kids in a block, and 28 of them are just like didn't pick up what you put down, didn't care at all what you said, or disrespected you or whatever. But I think, or like when kids go, like I've had literally kids say, I don't like you, right? And it's like, when I was a first year teacher, that sort of bit a lot harder than it does now.
Yeah.
Now it's like, that's fine. Like I am sort of limited to my personality. I kind of can expand, and I have enough empathy to like sort of like, get to you as a person. But at the end of the day, there's a specific teaching style that I have that makes intuitive sense to me, because that's what, my brain developed with. Like, that's how I interpreted the teachings I had. And that's just what my sort of limit is on that. But the thing with that is that, yes, maybe out of a class of 30, like 2 kids really love me. Like they're like, oh, that's Mr. Drover, right?
Yeah.
Another 2 kids, right, are going to have like Mrs. McGuire in social studies. That is completely different than me, right? That they really connect to. And then every one of those kids in that 12-year span is going to have that teacher that they really connect to.
Yeah.
So it's
sometimes it's like kids are like, I don't like you. It's like, well, no, you don't like that I'm doing this that you don't want to do or something. So it's easier to just say I don't like you, because then I can act according and kind of like have a defense mechanism again. Like it's kind of it just is like that. Like, and you start to realize that it's like, I didn't really like dislike certain teachers. I maybe just like didn't like
connect with them or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like I think the guilt as a teacher subsided in me when I realized like I'm not the only teacher in their life.
Yeah.
I'm like, they have a coach, or they have another teacher, or there is someone in this building in the next 4 years that they're going to connect to.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't have to, be that teacher for every single kid. Like,
No,
you're aspiring to be that, right?
Yeah.
But it's okay
Yeah.
if like another teacher.
Well, you're still
takes
trying
your
to
hands on that.
teach as well.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you can be everyone's favorite teacher and just like not teach anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that teaching actually, if you do care about it, you can keep getting better at it.
Yeah.
And you can put time into different types of like aspects of your teaching to get better at too. Like whether it's building better lessons, or like how you address the start of the year, or how you mark, or how you motivate, yourself, or whatever it is. But, it's like athletics too, where you're just constantly like trying to improve, but also keep up with the things that you do well and
recover.
Yeah.
Because like what you said with your co-teacher, right? Like there is, not every day is going to be my best lesson ever.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There's some days where like metaphorically wheeling out the Bill Nye, like, and I find sometimes when like usually happens like April, or like just some like interlope.
Yeah. Those like
you're exhausted.
Yeah.
And when you need a break, you can almost tell that the kids need a break too. Like I'm not so much speaking in phys ed, but I'm thinking in the classroom, right? Like there is just a time where like a work period is just what everyone needs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or
lot of
set up
students
a few, like we'll set up stations or options where, yes, you still run a good warm up and you get them into it. And then, you know, you have a few options and you give them the choice of this, or this. And basically the rules are you're not sitting out, you're actively participating in whatever you choose for the rest of the class, let's say 35 minutes. And who wants to do this, get to know numbers and like set it up. But once it's going, you know, aside from getting them to clean up and helping, you know, the one or two that need help, like finding their way, or setting up the game at the start. But yeah, those, you know, then you're mentally, it's like a little bit more relieving in your day,
like,
right?
Teaching should be as easy as possible. Like that should be like you should, I don't think there should be any valor to making your life harder on purpose, right? Like, I think that's one of the things that I like about teaching is the more you do it, like the better you get at the mundane stuff, like the photocopying or the power school, or whatever, stuff
or
like that.
Starting your year out and getting things prepped for it at the start,
You
so that
front load it a bit, and then like you can like, there's certain times where you just have to lock in, but like if you set yourself up, right, you can set a week up and be like, okay, this is going to be like, if you're talking like training, a down week for me, but it can still be super effective teaching, right? Because we've all seen those teachers that like are just, you know, burning the candle at both ends. And are they effective? Are they not? Right? Like, I'm not one to judge other people's teachings, but like I can just tell it's so exhausting, right? And
it's funny how I feel like the one place that I am not happy with where my mindset has gone is like on professional development and like learning. You know, you have these PD days. Anyone that doesn't know teaching, but everyone remembers PD days, right? You know, kids get off, we're at school, and we get to learn things like professionally develop, right? And you would hope you would look through topics like teacher burnout or better ways to like streamline your, I don't know, like lesson development.
no, it's always something added to your plate.
So random. It's
Try to
so
include
random.
this
And
now. Like,
I'm sitting there and and you spend like, wow, if we had 6 hours of like actual, like some kind of instruction or some kind of activity or like a built thing to help us actually improve as professionals, it would be amazing. And some of the things are just, you know, almost
like like a PD day on making your life more efficient.
yes, or whatever, or better teaching styles, or
I got something for you right here.
okay.
I'll show you. Oh, it's right here actually.
What is this?
So this was the only
Buying assessment.
yeah.
Okay.
This was the only here. That was like a book that our principal made us read before this PD day.
Oh.
And just like you, I'm like, oh, like, you know, like we have to do this homework. But I read this book and I was so into it that
good.
I emailed the author, Damian Cooper, and got him on the podcast. Like, so I talked about this. And he talks about like triangulated assessment. And when I was reading this, I was like, oh, this is not make work. This is actually things that's going to make my life easier. It's cool. So basically what he says in this book is like, and this is more classroom orientated, but it's like 33% of your assessment should be written, like no more than that, right? Then it should be 33.3% project based, like make something, like show me that you can apply the knowledge whatever you're doing. And then the other 33% is observation and conversation. And that changed my way, like my idea of how I'm spending my time. Like, I'm not marking everything I give out, right? I sample mark and I pick sometimes the best of each. Like, I'm like, okay, you're doing that. But observations, right?
Yes.
I've had kids come onto I had this set up in my room one year, and I had kids come at lunch saying like, okay, review what we learned in science today with me. Like, and then you could talk about like your dirt bike or something like that afterwards. Well, they did it, right? And yeah, once you realize that half the stress of teaching is about like assessments and like marking and stuff like that, that's not teaching. Like teaching is like facilitating learning, right?
Yeah.
So I find new teachers especially, they mark way too much. Like, so, but that was just an example of like,
Well, it's cool
PD
because
day that made my life simpler.
Well, and then the next PD day that your principal comes in, you have a better attitude going into the next PD day coming out of one like this, right? And I think maybe I just had a few too many compounding.
Well, no, believe me, I've had it.
Yeah. Anyways, it's not always going to be perfect for you as an individual, especially as a specialist. It's not always the topic that relates most to, like, let's say phys ed or whatever else.
That's big, or I found a lot of it is like elementary focused, and I'm like, well, how am I going to apply that to like kids?
Yeah, and you're taking a bit, but sometimes it seems like, you know, that it's almost set up.
Well, like the study they're looking at is like 12 kids with a beanbag chair room, and like you're like, okay, like this is not the utopia that they have in this theory here. But yeah, there is takeaways to that. But yeah, I do wish PD days would mainly focus on how can we streamline this work. And I do find when I've been in situations where I interject and be like, okay, we can make things simpler this way, right? And I don't know if it's an education thing or just like working with different adults, like different people, but sometimes people put too much of their own value in how busy they are, how hard they are,
everyone's busy,
how hard they're working or whatever, right? So if you try to come up with a way to make it more efficient or easier, it comes off as people thinking you're lazy. And I don't know if you've ever had that experience, but
or you just personally think that sometimes too. Like, I was very efficient at that. And it was pretty quick and easy, and it was great.
Am I getting paid for that?
Yeah. So it's just things that you realize over time, right? Like, and part of that is like, well, if I have an issue with it, then maybe I should get into like an opportunity to propose a PD plan that might be better, right? Like a different idea or something. So again, like, you just sometimes if you want to get better, sometimes it's good to try to do it yourself or get behind it a little bit so
give it the old college try.
Well, either way, it's still like a day where you're with your colleagues, you're kind of talking. You never know what's going to come up that you can bring value from, or
like,
gives you days like that.
This right here, I find this is a professional development. Like, this is PD, right? Like, it's talking with
from others, right? Knowing,
but let's change gears a bit.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about Spartan racing.
Okay.
Now, you are, I guess when it was in its heyday, you were just crushing championship after championship. At least that's what I heard. So can you explain sort of your experience with Spartan racing and, what you've accomplished in the sport and sort of how you got into it?
So Spartan race obviously is still like a physical challenge for anyone, right? And people would do it as an event just to sign up for and challenge, and they'd help each other over certain obstacles or, fail and just kind of come through. But there was like an elite side to it, and it progressed into a very popular sport and a very competitive one at the highest level. And there were guys doing it professionally, including myself. I took, a year off teaching after signing a few contracts and going and racing a few times over a weekend, and realizing like, if I did this well and kept up with it, like, I could kind of sustain myself. And so I kind of jumped on that opportunity for a year. I don't know if I would have loved to do it for, multiple years, but it was a great experience. And, but yeah, so I mean, in Canada, I raced for the Canadian team, and kind of some big brands that were either, title sponsors or just separate personal
Gorp bars.
So local brands and stuff, which it's cool that opportunities just come to you when you are doing something you really enjoy, but you are getting good at it and people want to kind of just work with you. I was never one of those people that just kind of would work with brands just to sign a deal or something like that. And I just kind of like built relationships and got connected in the right way. And back when Spartan was kind of at its peak, they had really dedicated media teams and stuff like that. So it was pretty easy for us to gain exposure and kind of be of value, right? And that was kind of part of the game. But when it came down to it, you know, racing was racing, and I was doing very well for, you know, multiple years, and, you know, raced for Team Canada at World Championships and won gold, and I was always ranked within the top 10 worldwide for 3 years straight. So I look back on it, and, you know, sometimes you didn't realize how much of peak fitness you were in.
Yeah.
And then you look back and you look at some of your numbers on workouts or something like that, and you're like, wow, I actually was, you know,
I get that.
in that kind of shape, and pretty cool to have had that opportunity. And I got to travel like all places around the world, and kind of that was a lot of fun. And it was I met some, you know, when you go to these races, just like you meet someone that's trained for a half marathon or is a competitive runner or something, you kind of instantly have this like respect.
Yeah.
Just like
You felt the same thing that I
you're a
have,
teacher.
like,
I'm a teacher. Like, we don't, even without discussing teaching, like, we still appreciate that about each other. And so I've met some amazing people and still have like really good friends around Canada, around the world, that I would have never been introduced to, and more like-minded people, which is nice, because you kind of get those blues when you come back from a race weekend or something, and everyone's worried about, you know, everyone's in peak fitness and cares about kind of healthy lifestyle and is in like this like elevated state of like pushing themselves and stuff. And then you go back to, you know, regular day-to-day life, and it's a little mundane. And so you kind of work at certain ways to kind of keep up with things. But yeah, it was a great experience. And unfortunately, like with like COVID and everything, you know, the brand kind of sunk, and they took basically all their money out of the professional and elite side of the race. And so now it's still a competitive event and a race, but because it didn't have that money and competitiveness to it, a lot of people, like, I went to a few races after, and, you know, you go show up at a race and win it, but there's no one else there that pushed you or made you kind of work for the win or something, and you don't win any money from it. And
yeah,
it's just not really the same atmosphere for myself at that point. So things have kind of transitioned from it, but I definitely learned how to train. And even just training with you guys on the track, you know, I got into that just because I realized, you know, when it comes down to it, 80% of it is still running, and you have to be a good runner on top of all your other weaknesses. And yeah, Spartan race will expose any aspect of your physical fitness.
well, yeah, no, I remember you were trying to explain it to me once. Like, I know there's like a certain amount of points or penalties you get for doing things incorrectly. Could you walk us through like what a Spartan race is, like in terms of the exercises that you do and how you win?
Well, I mean, yeah,
It's not always the first person through the line, right? It's like,
well,
what if you screwed up on like a...
Yeah, so it used to have a penalty right at the spot, and there'd have referees, and if you failed, you'd have to do 30 burpees before you continued. They started getting rid of burpees because they were a little hard to, let's say, referee, like reps wise.
What is a good enough?
Exactly.
Burpee,
Yeah. So they had standards, but of course there were always issues with someone like missing a rep. You'd get time penalty or something. So they started adding more like penalty loops. So if you fail, there would like be this bonus loop before you went back onto the course. So you would just have to run more and then continue, which, you know, can play a big factor if you're looking at, you know, they're from 5K to 25K, right? And you know, back in the day, they were it was a little more like Wild West, where you show up and the race was maybe 13 miles, but you never knew.
Around
They were
there,
15 miles, and you didn't know what the obstacles were. And now it's way more standardized, where it's just, you know what's going to come up in each distance, and what to expect. So good, you can train for it. And at the elite level, like, not a lot of people are failing unless it was like, let's say, a rainy day,
Right.
or people just make a mental error or miss like one of the very specific skills. But for the most part, it was just how efficient you could get through it at the end. And it became, you couldn't just win from completing the obstacles. Like, you had to be, you know, really good at going through, let's say, Ninja Warrior style rigs, or carrying a sandbag, or climbing a rope, or going on hands and knees under barbed wire and rolling through it as fast as you can, but getting up and running kind of a decent pace through different terrains. That is really just the combination of the whole race. So yeah, it was, I loved it. Like, my first one, I finished it, and yeah, I was at a pretty key race. I didn't realize it was one of the like main big races in Canada, and a lot of the guys that were doing it on like an elite level were there, and I didn't know who I was racing, right? You start to know the sport after a while, who's the fastest guys, you know, you show up and you know the start
So he's doing his warm up.
Yeah. And
Same as
so yeah. So you know guys who's good, who's shooting for it, and you know, there's always the odd person that shows up and does well, but for the most part, it was the people you knew that were there. And after my first race, I finished, and I got on the podium, like, a third place,
awesome.
by like 4 seconds. Didn't realize who I beat. Anyways, the guys finished ahead of me and stuff, came up to me, and no one knew who I was. You know, I definitely looked like I didn't know what I was doing. I was wearing the worst attire to go through like mud. And I was wearing like basic Nike shoes, you know, just I looked like I didn't know what I was doing. And so they're really encouraging. They said, you know, like, if you did this well in this race without really knowing how to train for it yet, or
it's almost more impressive.
So I look back at that and realize, you know, past a guy that just started cramping at like 3/4 of the way, that usually was like one of the best guys. You know, like, certain things happened in that race that I didn't know who I was beating and who made mistakes and whatever, but I loved it. I love the kind of variability to it, and running and kind of like pushing yourself and continuing on after you feel completely exhausted from something, but kept switching up, that I liked it. And so I was hooked after that, and kept up with it, like I said, since 2014, and kind of understood the sport and got great opportunities from it, and kept up with it, and did a few other obstacle races, like brands, and not just Spartan race. But how I would say Spartan race is like Ironman to triathlon, right? It's like the most kind of respected competitive version of triathlons, let's say. Maybe like, there's obviously Olympic and stuff like that, but there's other brands of obstacle racing, but Spartan was kind of where you went to get the best branding, the best event, and yeah, so it was great. It definitely changed. I for sure have incorporated workouts and training styles that I learned to prepare for a Spartan race, and just keep doing them, because
they're like general fitness, right? Like, what it reminds me of is, like, I applied for the police a couple years ago now. And I was just done with teaching that year, I guess. But I went through their obstacle courses and stuff like that. That was like dirt easy, but like, the idea of like, just being well-rounded, like, because you can't hide in that, like you're saying, it like, it completely exposes whatever deficits you have in training, and like, you just make sense to be the most perfect guy for it, right? Whereas like, at times where you were probably competing your best at Spartan races, and the boys on the track were ripping 4-minute miles or close to it, right? Yeah, we could crush you in the running, right? But there's no way we could lift that sandbag or crawl over that wall or do as many burpees as you, right? So you were like I guess like Captain America. Like that's sort of like the general fitness, or like just peak human general fitness.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, like I've seen this thing like more
Like
recently.
leveling up a character, right?
Yes.
It's just you're balancing all your stats.
And you still like have moments where you're work on certain things and you're getting better at others, and you get more efficient and whatever else. But yeah, it's a nice place to be. Obviously you don't experience the like your true potential in anything, let's say.
Yeah.
But
Jack of all trades, master of none.
like if I look at my general fitness and my overall like pride in my own physical capabilities over, you know, let's say the last 15 years, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at all the time. So to me, that's like more valuable than, you know, feeling really good at one thing, but, you know, being scared to do a pull up or jump in. Like, so it's been teaching me that, right? And plus the running wasn't just flat. Like it was hard to run with you guys that were out, like totally, like I was out of my league in terms of just like short flat reps or longer stuff. But
it's very,
you know, climbing up a mountain and having that capacity to, you know, bomb a downhill and then be able to like run flat after quads are just shot. It's just different. So I was just learning from that, and but when it comes down to it, you know, engine is still key, and so doing those hard run workouts still.
Yeah, so you have to make the like dedicated decision to be like, okay, I'm not gonna max out any one of these, but I gotta like be good at them to like accomplish the goal. Especially with running. So like I ran like my personal best in my half marathon in October. I can't run my personal best in my half marathon the same season as I run my personal best in the 800 meter.
Right.
Like you have to decide. Like you cannot be the best at both of those things. So I find like maybe you have some insight on this, but the skill at training is, because like when I train for that 800, I have to sacrifice some aerobic endurance because I have to either take part of my time out or it's just physiologically not going to work.
Yeah.
Like I have to like focus on this and I have to sacrifice this. When you're training to be a more well-rounded athlete with all these different things, if you do too much of one thing, it's going to pull away from another thing. And you have to like plan out your workouts so that, okay, I'm going to get X amount of anaerobic work so I can get up that hill, but I can't have too much of it because I still need to be able to lift these sandbags. And now instead of just dealing with 2 skills, you're dealing with 5 or some component of fitness. And that must take a lot of like intellectual work.
Yeah, it took a lot of time to kind of build my training schedule and whatever else. And I'm still learning, right? You're always just trying to figure out what your body adapts best to and what you can work around. But
have you ever found it where it's like, I really like doing this, but I can't do it this much because I'm neglecting this, and that?
I don't think I've ever been in a phase where I've neglected anything completely. Just because unless it's been
but the prioritize has dropped a bit.
I just find that if I stick to themed days and use my days when I want to really lean into quality, I use that completely. And then on the other days it's building, and then that keeps me at like my base fitness of everything: strength, running, you know, volume, and a bit of speed. And it brings me 80% of the way there all year. And then whatever I'm preparing for next, my certain theme days will make sense based on what I'm getting prepared for. But I don't really take anything out. I just kind of change, you know, sometimes my long run, you know, when so this year I did 100K through the mountains, and that was like
disgusting.
That was, so obviously like my speed days were a little different, right? I wasn't trying to rip 400s, and although I still added in because
they're fun.
They're fun, and it makes those easier paces just feel
Oh, 100%.
easier. And like, you need to keep that, wake that nervous system up. But yeah, like my long run day was, you know, it was long, and my leg days were very specific to like endurance, being able to just not like fall apart over, like, it was a 13-hour day, right? Like through the mountains. So you don't know what it's going to feel like, but you try to prepare enough. But yeah, I do still think strength training is very important for runners, because
Totally.
not only does it help you like prevent injury or deal with like impact load and everything,
Power,
it's
man.
just
Like,
power. And also strength training does help you like regulate your hormones and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
HGH,
yeah,
like, it's just like
whatever.
you don't like if you do a double workout a day, even if it's the same volume as a single workout,
Yeah.
you'll get an extra punch of HGH, like just naturally.
Yes.
And then when you're lifting after, right, you kind of get that like androgynous, like, you know, signal through muscles, right? And then muscle recruitment, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So to me, it was just, would I probably be my best self on that specific race day if I changed a few things? Probably. If I lost a little bit of muscle weight. I never like talking about weight in terms of, you know, how track is and running, and sometimes that can be something that, you know, comes out, or like, let's say mountain biking, where it's weight ratio and stuff like that. And but yeah, like you said, you know, it's more about how you feel also away from training. And if I just specifically did that, I don't know if I would like enjoy how I felt, you know, on a day-to-day basis in terms of energy and just like motivation. So you got to kind of keep up with that. I'd rather love that I'm still competitive in different sports and jumping into different distances and physical challenges for 10 plus years than someone that was very good for 2 years and then just kind of fizzled out and doesn't do any of it anymore, you know?
Yeah. And like, you're still hammering it. Like, yeah, there's definitely personal bests in your future and everything like that.
I've
Like,
got to get back into some speed.
right? And just jump in, and like, I need the speed work too, so it'll be good. But like, it's that thing, man. It's like, it never gets easier. Like, you just get faster, right? Like your goals or your bar just bumps up, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what I was about to say, but let's just if I really wanted to push like getting a 2-minute faster half marathon right away, like this spring, like, I think theoretically I could do it. It just, I might get divorced, unemployed, right? This is a way to do it, but like, is it the juice worth this?
Well, at least you know, even when you decided to like train for your last half and you got the result you wanted, or at least a PB, and which is always
I
good.
wanted sub 115.
Yeah. So that's like, for most people, that is like doesn't even make sense, right? I mean, the crowd you hang out with, yeah, it makes sense. But you still doing training for it, and but you told your fiance, like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to it. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
So they know a little bit, and you know that it has an end date to it.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to run for dreams that aren't really.
I'm not going to the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's just getting a little more mature.
Well, the nice thing, and like, I will jump back to teaching here just to end it.
Okay.
I love those moments where like, I kind of get to show off to the kids. Like, it's a little egotistical, but so what I have it is like, when I have them give them a quiz. Like, I was teaching grade 7 science last year, and they're like, I'm going to give you a really difficult thing to do. Like, here's a quiz. This is not the first time you've heard about it. We've talked about it. But it's going to be hard and it's going to be challenging. And they're like, well, Mr. Drover, you have to do something hard and challenging. So I would literally do as many push-ups as possible in front of the class.
I think I remember doing that, yeah.
I've done clean and press Like I literally just went to the weight room, grabbed like a bar with like 25 pounds on each side.
Yeah.
And I just did clean and press.
Yeah.
Until I failed. And they're like sitting there, like a teacher walks by, he's like, this guy is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Right. You know, but it's just like the kids are like, oh my God, like that is something they're going to remember. Right.
For sure.
Yeah. Like, and like, that's something I couldn't do if I was out of shape.
No.
Right. Or it's like, wow, this guy, like, and like, I don't BS it either.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get to like my max and like be exhausted. I did the beep test with the kids.
I haven't done that in a while, but I have done it with them.
Yeah. I got to like 13 and a half and I was just like gas. It was like one basketball player just holding on to me for dear life or whatever. But like, I love those moments that my fitness allows me to have.
Yeah.
Right. So how many push-ups can you do?
Good question. I have not tried my max, and I'm definitely not like right now
Already making excuses.
Yeah, I know. Here we go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say if I really forced it, I could do over 50.
Over 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
Legit ones.
Do you want to try it?
Sure.
Okay.
You better do it with me.
All right, I will. Okay. Let's go over here. Yeah. Well, I'll leave this recording for the mic so that we have the mics on.
Okay. We're going to do them in rhythm. Not going to get ahead.
All right.
You do have a good little setup over here. I didn't even realize.
Oh, yeah. No, if we can hit the lights too. And this is going to be a two-parter. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we've just been chatting.
Yeah, and sorry to keep you so long.
That's fine. What time is it? 2? Yeah, it's fine.
All right. So,
Okay, let's stay in order and let's just count.
yeah. All right.
10.
Geez. All right. So you said over 50.
We're doing over 50. We're getting to
I'll try. Okay.
Everyone else can.
We'll sync up.
Okay.
All right. We're good?
Set up. Ready? 1, 2.
I got to move the mic. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Adding up. 15, 20. 28. That's 30. There you go.
That's 40.
Oh, 41. You're one ahead of me. There we go. What are we at?
I'm at 47. I think that 8, 9, 50.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got one more.
oh, you're at 50.
Good job.
Good job.
I did upper body yesterday. I haven't added up quicker than I thought.
Anything like that in 4 weeks.
Hey, to be able to get 50 out of the way is still good.
Oh, all right. Back to your regular scheduled programming. Oh, wow.
Bunch of runners trying to do push-ups.
I know, man. Yeah. I think so. When Olivia and I met, we met online in Fort Mac.
Yeah.
And then I went back to Winnipeg for the summer, and she left to Newfoundland because she was just visiting her sister.
Yeah.
So she like literally left. I was like, oh, dang it. And then we moved I was working in Fort Mac, texting her in Newfoundland, and said, come to New York with me for like a week.
Yeah.
And so we did. And then I think it was like the first night we were there, I was like working out like a lot, upper body. And like, it's stupid me, man. I was like, you want to see how many push-ups I could do? And that was my personal best. And so in this hotel room in New York, I just did 74 push-ups in front of her.
Wow.
And she was just like, oh, that was good. Like, but I can imagine this girl that I just like flew across the country to a different country for. And I was just like, how do I break the ice here?
Yeah.
Push-ups. Oh my God. So,
I
yeah.
think I feel like this was years ago, but I had a moment where I would just do max push-ups at the end of any upper body workout, and I actually got pretty close to 100.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever actually got 100, but you know, I'd always get over 80, you know. So
225 and 100. That's it all.
that's yeah.
Okay, before we end it, I gotta catch my breath.
No,
Is there
that's fair.
besides benching 225 and 100 push-ups apparently, what are the
2026 goals? Yeah.
what goals, what aspirations, what events do you have coming up?
Well, I have not quite figured out my whole race schedule, but there's some really good local trail races now, which is great. And there's some competitive runners now in trail racing, especially in Manitoba, but they're everywhere now. Yeah, exactly. Well, I knew Dan Hastruck before he moved on to the trail scene, and he would come and everyone would be like, oh, Mik, you know, this guy broke your record on the course. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm not like surprised. Like it's
Rookie dad.
yeah, exactly. But I've got a 65K in the mountains in BC in July, like kick off my summer. And I always try to like pick an event and then stay and explore after wherever I go. And especially mountain and trail running, you're usually in like a cool spot in terms of how I like to travel and kind of like explore the wilderness and get out. And so that's kind of one of the big ones. And then, like I said, a few local trail races, I'll be really competitive, and we'll see. I'm kind of got my eye a little bit on this High Rocks now, which is kind of like fitness racing. It's like indoor, which I don't love, but it's like running a kilometer and doing a fitness station, running a kilometer, do a fitness station. And you kind of like accumulate, you know, 8K, 10 stations, and it's like a balance. So it's like Spartan racing, but a little more standardized. So I might try one of those, and that might be the next thing that excites me into what I want to train for next. Yeah.
Man, that's exciting. All that is exciting. If you have nothing planned in August, the Emperor's Challenge.
Tell me more.
So it's in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia.
Okay.
So the foothills of northern BC.
Yeah.
I did it once. And it's about maybe just under a half marathon, like 20K. And it's like 6,000 feet elevation.
Mm-hmm.
It is like...
It's just a race, like a running distance race.
Mountain race. Yeah. And I don't know, there's heavy prize money in there.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah. Look.
I got 9th. Like when I went there, I went to the coal mine.
Yeah.
Like that was like the May that I ran the police half. And
we're in like decent shape.
I was, but then I worked in a coal mine for 2.5 months.
Right. Okay.
And then jumped into this, and was it humbling. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, man, Mik would crush this. So you can look at that. I'll send you the link or whatever. Yeah. But it's a pretty well-known thing. Like
I'm sure.
It's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think the summit, it's like 6,000 feet.
Yeah. Those. I've been in some races that have some big climbs, and it's such a different race, right? You just see your pace is pathetic, but you are just working.
Yeah, I had to walk through it. Like,
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you for the spruce beer. That was awesome.
No problem.
And I look forward to just watching what you're doing this year, and hopefully we get some workouts in.
For sure.
Take me traveling.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Well, that was part 2 of my conversation with Mik Gerylo. He is such an amazing guy, crazy athlete, and an even better teacher. Next time on the podcast, we have Erin Teschuk. She's a 2016 Rio Olympian. She competed in a 3,000 meter steeplechase, and she's been in the sport of track and field for over a decade. We talk a lot about her longevity in the sport, the ups and downs, sponsorships, and she's an old high school friend. I trained with her in high school, and I'm just so glad to have her on.
So if you want some wisdom of track and field and an example of an amazing woman in athletics, tune in next time for Aaron Test Truck. Anyway, see you guys later. Like and subscribe. Please comment on this video. It would help a lot. Thanks, guys. See you later.